Hello, I'm back with my next video tutorial. Today I am going to do the chalkboard technique. I haven't done this for a while and it's kind of fun and I like the way it looks. We're going to use a black base. Sorry to hold that. This is what we're going to end up creating, this thinking of you card. And this background here is what's called the chalkboard technique that we're going to go through this morning. Or it could be afternoon or evening depending on when you're watching this. So we always want to start out when you're going to use a chalkboard technique with a black or navy base. I'm going to use black. And then you use a white stamp pad. And then here is the image that I'm going to use, which is a little flower. It comes from this Rustic Flowers stamp set, which was last year's March 2007 Stamp of the Month. And it was so popular it came out in the catalog, and I really like it. Mainly, one reason is because it came out with a background stamp, which is fun, and then it has these really nice pretty flowers to work with, and a saying. So you take your stamp and you ink it up with your white ink. I'm not going to use pigment ink, I'm going to just use regular white daisy dye-based ink. And as you can see, I'm going to random stamp that on my card. Okay, and then I'm going to take chalk and I'm going to rub chalk over those white daisy flowers. And this, I'm going to use this tool right here. You can just use a Q-tip or a dauber, but I like all these little gadgets, so, and I don't use chalk as much as I should, so I'm going to use my little chalk holding, these little balls here. This just picks these little balls right up, like this. Ooh, there he goes. Picks them up. And then you can easily use your chalk. So ink, or I should say chalk, the little ball up, and then you just wipe that right over the white daisy and it will take on that color. So I'm going to do that to all of these. Probably for time's sake I should have had some of them done, but we'll go fast here. You just ink over. You don't want to try to ink too much. I guess on the black it doesn't really show up that much. You could probably, you don't have to be too careful because you are going to cover it up, but you don't want to go too wild on inking up your flower so it's, the ink's not all over the card, I guess. Or I keep saying ink, I'm sorry, I mean chalk. I'm so used to using ink, I think I just automatically use that word. I'll try to go a little faster here. And I've only done this technique with a background stamp. I think you could probably use other things if you're going to go all over the card, but I like the background stamp. So I'm going to use this, and what I do is I do this technique, I just say it's reverse stamping. I don't know what other people do, but I lay the block down when it has a big pattern, and then I kind of pounce the ink pad all over the stamped image. That way I also can see that I got everything that I wanted. And this stamp is supposed to be kind of erratic, so it's not going to be perfect, which I also like. Then you just go right over top. It kind of has a little chalkboard, like when you're little effect. Do it a few more times here. Line it up. And you are going to cover up some of it, so if you have any imperfections that you don't like, it's okay, because you'll be covering up with some flowers, and that's the nice thing about inking. You can always embellish, and there's never a mistake, as they say it in stamping, because it's just an opportunity to put down another embellishment or something, so that's always fun. Can't get enough of those. So I'm going to cover my card completely with this background stamp. Just a couple more on the bottom. And it has turned my ink pad, my white ink pad, a little bit pink, and what I'll do is just make sure that I get that cleaned off before I ink with this ink pad again. this little corner here. There we go. So that's kind of the main chalkboard technique. You see it's kind of covered up, kind of covered those flowers. And then I'm going to add the other things. I've already stamped thinking on this pansy purple paper. I'm going to put that down. Using my little Tombow today. I'm not going to do a lot of stamping today because I got a son's birthday tomorrow, so I got to get ready for that. And oh, look it, I made a mistake already. Not surprising. My pink one was supposed to go underneath. This is my pink one. It says "of you." But I'll just lift this back up here. That's another awesome thing. Comes right up. My other ink dries a little bit quicker, but it's still, on this black paper, it always seems to pop up pretty good, or I should say pretty easy. Okay, and then I've already stamped the flowers and got those ready for us. Again, I'm using the rustic flowers. I stamped the bigger flower, which is this, and watermelon on bubble gum, and then I stamped this, which always reminds me of those spirographs when I was little that we had, and I stamped that in pansy purple. And then I use a pansy purple bigger brad for the middle. I'm going to put that in the middle here. And then these are paper flowers that we're going to use. This pansy purple one with a hollyhock or a pinkish center, and then a pink flower. And I usually put my paper flowers on with glue dots. This just kind of works out the best for me, it seems like. Just put those down. And those you can put any place that you want. Didn't leave enough room. Let's see if we can pop that up here. Move that baby over just a little bit. There we go. And put my last one down here. Rules of 3, you know. I always like the rules of 3 or odds, so. And there you go. There's the finished technique. Chalkboard technique. I hope you enjoyed it, and now it's your turn to try it. Thanks for stopping by.